So far right authoritative. No. Pull up Giovanni Gentile. This would be the person that you guys would like to use.
You see?
As an authority. Yeah.
The
Where
audience
did we
can watch.
cite
They're terrified.
Gentile? I thought it was Gentile. When did we cite him?
I'm sorry. Is reading a Wikipedia article proof of your position?
No.
In this video, Tim Pool debates woke fruitcake Luke Beasley. Unsurprisingly, Luke Beasley and some nerd he brought with him argue that Donald Trump is a fascist, and Tim Pool, along with Andrew Wilson, respond accordingly. With that, let's watch Tim Pool once again crush the dreams of this little lady, Luke Beasley.
The recounts had concluded, and he was trying to get not let's have two standing by because we don't know how this recount's going to go, but from 7 states that we know the outcome of, but I'm making false claims of fraud on them, I'm going to get Pence to keep me as president by accepting fake electors. Tim, for a second, because we're supposed to be debating them, I think, could they also try to defend this stance?
Yeah, because you're comparing apples and oranges thing as far as I'm concerned.
That was silly.
Yeah, like if a court decided in one of the 5 or 7 states that Trump tried to peddle the false elector scheme, that if a court contested the Democratic slate of electors, then I think you would have an apples to apples comparison. But that's not what happened. Yeah. In none of the 7 states.
And it wasn't close enough to where they didn't know which way it was going to go.
Right, there was no actual ambiguity.
Yeah. Andrew, anything? Myron?
Well, what's the argument here? Is it fascism, or because you guys went into a whole other tangent? Because you guys went. I don't know if you guys. It started with fascism, but we went into Kennedy election in 1960s.
I'll explain. One of the key tenets of, again, I know you'll get really triggered, so I'm trying to stay away from that particular term, but we can say fascism, authoritarianism,
is based. I don't know what
anti-democracy.
It's pretty fucking based. I don't know what the issue is, baby.
Is that legitimate or a joke? Because we can go into that. That'd be interesting.
I mean, we can go.
Now suddenly you want to talk about fascism.
One of the key tenets is rejecting democratic principles and the democratic process.
According to who?
According to every single fascism scholar ever and the definition.
Okay. Do you mean according to who, like what determines the democratic processes?
No, I'm asking according to who.
Yeah, sure, read it.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you like watching videos like this one, like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Let's get back to the video.
So far right authoritative. No. Pull up Giovanni Gentile. This would be the person that you guys would like to use.
You see?
As an authority. Yeah.
Where did we cite
They're terrified.
Gentile? I thought it was Gentile. When did we cite him?
I'm sorry. Is reading a Wikipedia article proof of your position?
No. Getting into a hyper specific definitional discussion. I don't care what you call it. Bad. Let's say bad. Bad is what I think Trump did. And that's what I'm trying to get you to see, not the definition, because I know you feel way more comfortable spinning around and reading about whoever. Instead, we can just talk about, regardless of the definition, is it good or bad to reject democratic results? Is it good or bad to threaten the media based on my principles, which value democratic?
What do you mean threaten the media?
So Trump has repeatedly called for like investigations into reporters, into media outlets. He believes that the business licenses of like ABC and CBS, MSNBC, he says, should be pulled. I mean, you don't see these sorts of threats from the Democratic Party.
Okay.
Of course you don't see threats like that from the Democrat Party. What would they have to complain about? Because the constant lying over and over and over comes from the mainstream leftist media. If the media were controlled by the right wing, well, then they may have a problem with it. Didn't Fox News lose a huge lawsuit around this time about election interference? Yeah, they lost a ton of money. I apologize for not remembering the amount, but so obviously the left wing's not afraid to call out what they consider to be dishonest reporting. So that actually strengthens the case even more. If Trump and the right are going after media organizations that just continually get to lie, slander, and libel people on the right with zero repercussions. I mean, look at the last election. Look at the things that they were accusing Trump of with all the Hitler Nazi stuff. It was all based on hearsay in closed-door meetings with generals, yet they spoke about it as if it was fact. I mean, zero repercussions for that. And that was literally the main talking point, especially in the last month or two leading up to the election, that, you know, here's our reasons why Trump is going to be a dictator. And they could lie and lie and lie with stuff they knew nothing about, and there's no repercussions. Isn't CBS close to paying out a big settlement for editing Kamala Harris's interview on CBS? when they were challenged on it, they said, no, we didn't. No, we didn't. But they would never provide anyone with the footage of the full interview. They absolutely knew what they were doing. I mean, I'm all about free speech, but a major news organization can't go out of its way to make a moronic presidential candidate look like they're not a moronic presidential candidate. And if you don't see the left wing or the left wing politicians going after news organizations much, again, first of all, it's just because they don't get lied on as much as the right wing and Donald Trump. And Donald Trump has endured this for what, 10 plus years now? And it never stops. I don't know who these people on the left think they are, that they're not human beings that would have a breaking point at some point when you attack the same person over and over and scrutinize every single thing that he does forever. I mean, it's understandable that they'd keep doing it because there haven't been any consequences for such a long time for just completely lying. Russia collusion, the P tapes, remember that one? They still to this day say in that sexual assault case that was complete bogus nonsense, they still say Trump was accused or convicted of rape. No, he wasn't. It was in a civil court. He was held liable for sexual misconduct or something like that. Those are really defamatory statements to make about a person. And Trump's dealt with it in stride forever. But at some point, are you even a news organization if all you do is lie to your audience constantly? And you want to talk about authoritarianism or fascism? Which side of the aisle wants to police speech more or suppress speech? The left. They're actually upset. It still blows my mind that this doesn't drive people as crazy as it does me, that Elon Musk made X a level playing field where everyone could have their voices heard, and the left's upset about it. They liked it better when speech was suppressed because it was all in their favor. And now when it's a level playing field, they act like someone's doing the right wing a favor. No, it's just fair now. That's all. But your side is so soft and can't take any criticism that they think free speech is a threat to them. They also know it's a threat to them because they lie all the time and they want other voices suppressed. So their narrative is the only one that people are hearing. So yeah, I have no problem if wrongdoing was done to go after news organizations that just flat out lie. I mean, like I said, Fox News had to pay out for it. I'm not a Fox News viewer, but they're, the right-wing mainstream media arm. And so stop acting like the left never engages in that. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
Okay, so let's get into him.
And even if you did.
Has Trump pulled anybody's license ever as president? Has he actually sent any government officials to do any investigations at any major?
So you agree, though?
Stop.
Him saying
Stop, bro. I just let you go through your whole stupid spiel.
You keep not
Has Trump actually done that?
Are threats not bad?
No, first of all, hyperbole isn't a threat. That's one.
Trump.
And hang on.
CBS should be taken off the air.
Two, what I want to see, so as Spurgley over here keeps on losing his mind, he doesn't want to get into hyper-specifics.
Spurgley.
He doesn't want to get into hyper-specific semantics because that would cause what we'd like to call clarification. That way we're not talking past each other.
I don't think you're hearing what I'm saying.
Yeah, dude, I just gave you your whole spiel. So anyway, the reason I want to get specific about this, about what fascism is, about whether or not Trump is actually a fascist, whether or not Trump actually enacted fascist policy, all of these things is because you guys, you can't sit on your...
I say this in every other video. Andrew's so right. He nailed it on the head. People like Luke Beasley don't want to get into hyper-specific definitions so everyone's clear on what they're talking about. Their strategy is to keep things vague because it helps them make their point. If you get into the specifics, all they really know is their talking points because they don't want to go much deeper on any topic because they don't have the ability to go much deeper. They don't know anything besides the surface level statements that they're making. I just can't believe this kid is relevant. He's so bad. And I still stand by what I said, that if the law has been broken by a news organization and it can be proven in court, then those news organizations should be punished. And I'm not just using that as a one-sided argument. If it happens on the right, as apparently it did with Fox News, then they should get in trouble too. But using the legal system to punish wrongdoing is a good thing. This is more of the same, you know. Well, again, I said I support Trump going after news organizations that have committed legitimate crimes. Everything they're talking about is speculative, and they want to call him a fascist because of things he said. Again, even leading up to the election, 90% of the claims against Trump weren't about things he did, they're about things he said. No wonder the left wants to suppress speech. They never got the lesson when they were little kids that sticks and stones may break my bones, words will never hurt me. They are such wussies about words, man. I would be embarrassed if I let words bother me. I mean, how soft do you have to be? Let's wrap up the video.
Your shows and say, this guy's a fascist, he's an authoritarian, he's a dictator, he's a threat to democracy, and then give us nothing. Just like, oh, he used some hyperbole about the media.
We just talked about examples.
He tried to stay in office despite losing an election.
Yeah, okay, hang on. We'll get to that stuff in a second. Right now, we're talking about something else. We're talking about the media. Calm down. Calm down, Spursley.
That's what's so annoying.
Calm down, Spursley.
But Andrew, that's just a misrepresentation of our position. You say that we give you nothing. We're giving you specific things that he did, which
not with the no. You made this claim that Trump has done bad things to the media. He wants to pull their license. He wants to take something away from them.
He's threatened to do those things.
Where has he done them?
So do you think that it's acceptable unless he follows through on it?
Yeah, I think that hyperbole is fine. I think that presidents use hyperbole all the time. I think that liberals use hyperbole. So for instance, I'm going to give you an example. When you say Trump's a fascist, I think that's hyperbole.
Would you?
Yes, Donald Trump thought the 2020 election was rigged, and I believe he still thinks that. So yeah, he did everything he could to try to stay in office when he thought he was wronged. But has he been in the White House the last 4 years? Did he have armed guards outside the White House say, no, I'm not leaving? Did they have to drag him out kicking and screaming? No. So again, they're just talking about words, or when they are talking about something he did, like trying to find a way to stay in office, he thought he was wronged. He exhausted all of his options, and he left office. And unfortunately, Joe Biden took over the office. Now, 4 years later, everyone realizes what a huge mistake that was. But the country went on. And talk about hyperbole. Donald Trump is the king of hyperbole. And as long as the media has covered him every second of every day, they still don't understand hyperbole. That's the problem, and that's why they get into these rabbit holes of he said this and he said this, so it means he's going to do this. Well, look at his track record. He said this and said this before, and he didn't do it. So what are you talking about? These people exhaust me. Anyway, we want to hear from you. What do you all think about this conversation between Tim Pool, Andrew Wilson, Luke Beasley, and his little buddy here? Is Donald Trump a fascist? Or am I wrong? Is it not just the words he said? Has he actually taken action that demonstrates that he is, in fact, a fascist? I don't believe so, but I'm always willing to have my mind changed. So let us know. Anyway, as always, we really appreciate you watching, and we will see you on the next one.